Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Jackson Shakar here. Um, I know it's been a while. Shahar and I have been very busy, and we're excited to give you updates as they come out in the next weeks. For today's video, we will be covering the CPI data that just came out for last month, and then we will give you a preview of the Fed minutes, which should be coming out any minute now. So to jump into the information, inflation based off CPI, which is Consumer Price Index, overall inflation is down from 6% to 5% now, which is very good. Although core inflation actually rose 0.1%, but this was less than expected, so that is good. And for those who do not know, core inflation is overall inflation minus some of the volatile variables such as food and energy. So, Shahar, what implications does this have for the overall market?
Well, I think it's very, very positive news as that we fell down to 5%. On top of that, you have grocery items starting to decline for the first time since 2020. So that's a very positive thing for, middle class, lower class, and really everyone. Um, and yeah, so now we really have to see in the Fed minutes in about 27 minutes or so. Um, if the Federal Reserve are gonna, pause rates, or hike them one more time. But I think this overall report is great. But the market right now is just flat. But we'll get into that coming up next. But yeah.
Yeah, looking at the SPY chart, we see that the market is flat after the CPI data. The Fed minutes may have may move the market. What do you think, Shahar? Will
Yeah,
the Fed minutes move the market?
I think it definitely will. The key important we got to look at is because the reason why, by the way, the reason why the Fed minutes, especially this month today, is very important is because this takes a look back at last month's um, meeting that the Fed had, which was during the whole SVB, Silicon Bank, crisis and all the bank crisis. So it's a huge, huge like indication for what's going to happen in May. Like, are we going to hike one more time? Are we going to pause? Are we going to cut? And that's why it's very, very important. So yes, I do believe it will move the market, which is why the indices as we see it are flat right now.
Yeah, and looking at a more of a macro trend, we've been trading in this sort of um, ascending triangle. And if we look at indicators such as the MACD, which is basically just a moving average, it's not giving us much guidance. So we'll take a look at the RSI, which is the relative strength index. And right now it's approaching close to 60, which is a little bit high. And it does suggest that we will lose a little momentum in the coming weeks. Um, which is honestly, it trades perfectly into our channel. Um, if I had to predict, I would say we would test 400 next week. So going down to 400 and then come back up. Um, Shahar, anything else on macro trends from the SPY and the overall market?
Uh, no, nothing. I think you pretty much nailed it. I agree with what you're saying. With going down to 400, and the RSI being, in need for a little cool down, a healthy pullback. But yeah.
Yeah. And in other news,
Hmm.
crypto. Bitcoin has finally surpassed 30,000, although is teetering at that level.
Hmm.
Shahar, what do you see in the coming weeks and months for Bitcoin?
I think this rally for crypto, if you look back, I mean, started um, March, mid March, which is coincidentally right when banks started to collapse. So I think, we're very used to the stock market, and crypto market being very correlated, which most of the time it is. However, over the past month, we've seen a huge rise in crypto prices because banks are failing. Um, and if we really see banks collapse, in the next month or in the summer, then I think crypto will rally big time. And yeah, and this 30,000 level is very important as we look at Bitcoin. But yeah, I mean, things can things are looking pretty good for crypto right now.
Yeah. And just to touch on Ethereum really quickly,
Hmm.
we're sitting around 1900. So we hope to test 2000 soon. Hopefully, momentum will be in our favor. Um, Shahar, you have a Goldman Sachs report. Tell
Yes.
me about it.
So this came out about an hour and a half ago, an hour ago, and Goldman Sachs, right? As we talked about this, they took a look at this morning's CPI report, and and they saw that inflation went down considerably, which is great. And they are saying now that they no longer expect the Fed to hike any more rates. So they think that they're going to raise it one more time, at that 0.25 level in about 3 weeks time in May. But then after that, they're just going to pause, and yeah, which is bullish. Um, 100%. It's bullish. And yeah, it's very interesting. But it shows us that that this morning's report was very good for the long term. Um,
Absolutely. This morning's report was very
yeah.
impactful, especially after earlier this year, Jay Powell said
Hmm.
that he would not pivot, meaning start cutting rates until inflation was at 2%. So I think that um, this March CPI data hopefully will change his perspective, and hopefully we can start cutting towards the end of the year. But we will have to monitor that. Any closing thoughts, Shahar?
Well, the only thing I would say is, yeah, watch out for the Fed minutes. In about 21 minutes, it's gonna happen. Um, and yeah, I mean that's really it for now. Yeah, for this month at least. But we have a massive, massive month ahead, and we will be talking about that in later videos. But that's all for now.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to the channel. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks.